Howdy, folks. Yours truly, Pastor Todd, coming to you from the conference room. Now, I've talked a little bit about this room during our meditations. It was, if you recall, I told you about it a little bit about its history. It's been an office, it's been a pastor's office, it's been a vestry, which is where clergy store their clerical robes, and then they come in the vestry and put them on before they go into the sanctuary. Right now it's a conference room. We have meetings, like you can imagine why it's called a conference room. There's conferences. So I was looking for, it's our cross hunt, our Eastertide cross hunt, and I've been looking for crosses that are not obvious, like a real Easter egg hunt. I wanted to find one that was hidden. I was talking to Marcia Piper on the phone earlier, and she was laughing because she was wondering, what I was going to do next, because she was worried I'd ran out of crosses. But I found this cross. I'm going to switch the vision, the view of my phone to the forward setting and show you this cross I found, okay? So come with me. So see here, you can see what was behind the phone. It's kind of messy in here. It's the conference room, right? Sometimes it serves as kind of the backstage for the sanctuary, because we keep, some of the fake flowers in case we don't have flowers on the donated flowers, and there's the cornucopia. And we keep a bunch of stuff in here for the service. But if you look right, and I didn't hide this for this purpose, I just found it. You see that cross right there in the corner. Now, I wish I could tell you a story about this cross, but I don't ever remember seeing it. But I feel pretty confident that it's an altar cross because, excuse me, Lord, it's got a base. So it's got a base like a candlestick. And, it's that shiny gold that would look beautiful on an altar. So if anybody can tell me, I was looking for a pair. I've looked around for the other one because it's on a candlestick-like base here. I thought maybe there was two, but this may have come from one of the predecessor churches. So if you would, if anybody knows anything about this, let me know. But I want to talk a little bit about the hiddenness of this cross being, this beautiful gold cross being hidden behind other things in the conference room. Say a little something about that. It was St. Augustine that said, within each of us is a God-shaped hole. And in his book Confessions, he enumerates the things that we can try to fill that God-shaped hole with, that yearning within us, and we can fill it up with different forms of addiction. We can fill it up with feelings of superiority or judgment. We can fill it up with nationalism, but we yearn. We can hide it away. We can push it down, that restlessness. But there's only one thing that can fill a God-shaped or cross-shaped hole, and that is a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. So much like this hidden cross in our church, hidden within us is a thirst for a relationship with the living God. And even, I don't think it was Augustine that said this, but it was one of the church fathers alluded to his belief that we can even fill that hole with religion and not God, that we get caught up in performing the rituals of religion. And if they're a segue, if they lead us to a relationship with the living God, which is what they should do, then that's fine. But if we do them just for the sake of the ritual and believe that we've fulfilled that obligation, it can leave us feeling restless. So that's really the heart of mysticism, is this Christian mysticism, is this endeavor to fill that God-shaped hole with the living God, making room for that fiery feeling of love. So the poem that I'm going to read for us today is similar to what Augustine feels about the humans, that we're created with this thirst for God, a God-shaped hole that we must fill. This is a poem by Mictild of Magdeburg. If anybody out there has some German in their ancestry, this is one of your fellow countrymen. And this is called A Fish Cannot Drown in Water. A fish cannot drown in water. A bird does not fall in air. In the fire of its making, gold doesn't vanish. The fire brightens. Each creature God made must live in its own true nature. How could I resist my nature that lives for oneness with God? And the editor of the book of Christian poems called For Lovers of God Everywhere, named Roger Housden, he says this about that poem. The love of God is the air Mictild of Magdeburg breathes. It is not a discipline or a practice. It is her most intimate experience of being alive, like breathing itself. But while she may or may not be aware of her physical breath, she is profoundly conscious of this love that moves through her constantly. In this way, she is joined to it, one with it, though it is not clear in this translation whether it is the longing for union she experiences in this way or the union itself. But as we have seen elsewhere in this collection, the longing and the union are ultimately the same. Another powerful poem from the book For Lovers of God Everywhere. So this is our exercise. Now, one of the, I can't say drawback, one of the obstacles of the mystic journey is the fact of its mystical nature, meaning it's not easy to get your mind around. You know, you read the Our Father prayer, you read scripture, you know, you hear a sermon, and there's some practical things, there's some concrete things that God is this and God is that. And the mystical endeavor is trying to transcend those words to experience God. So we're going to spend a little time maybe trying to tether our feelings of God with something concrete, which is going to be a drawing. We're going to draw like we're kiddos in school. So here's the exercise, and then you guys can, I can tell you, and then you can go do it right now or later on this evening whenever you've made that 5 minutes of time, which I know that you have. 5 minutes of prayer time to grow in our relationship, our connection with the living God. So, go to your armchair. I want you to get a piece of paper and a pencil, any drawing instrument will do. And maybe a book to sit on your lap because you need to draw. And you're on that paper, you're going to just write the words, me and God at the top. Me and God. And then I will just want you to stare at that blank paper for 3 or 4 minutes until something occurs to you to draw. You are going to draw an image of me and God. You and God, not me and God. You're going to draw an image of you and God together on that page after considering what could it possibly be. After you're finished the drawing, it doesn't have to be Picasso. Definitely don't make it a Picasso because that's confusing. Don't make it, it doesn't have to be professional or incredibly detailed. And once you complete that picture, that drawing of me and God, I want you to tell God about it. All right, this is a form of praying with God. You remember our 4 stages of the evolution of prayer, praying at God, pre-written prayers, praying with God, listening to God, and being with God. Right now, we're going to spend this week doing exercises pertaining to praying with God. So you're going to talk with God about that picture that you drew. And basically, you're just going to tell God why you drew the picture that way. So just let it come from the heart. There is no right and wrong way. It's the doing of it. That feeling of bringing God down to this page for a moment, and a way of understanding you and God together, and then telling God why you feel connected to God in the way that you've drawn it. You may be able to tell that I try to do these meditations extemporaneously, so pardon me if I get a little tongue-tied. This one in particular, this is my third take. So you'll just have to journey with me through the fumblings and thoughts. So there's your exercise, my friends. We found a truly hidden cross in the church today. So tell me about it if you can. Anybody knows anything about this cross? I read you a poem by Mictilde of... I just finally saw something on this in the light. I looked very carefully. In loving memory of Mrs. Jane A. Hall. I don't know if you're ever going to see that. I looked very carefully underneath it, and I thought there may be something. So tell me if anybody knows anything about Jane A. Hall. Please do. So anyway, you've got a poem. We found a cross hidden, like that God-shaped or cross-shaped hole in us that thirsts for God, and we gave you a little exercise to connect to God. So go forth and pray, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And God and I both love you.